Today is August the 12th, 2026, and the channeling that you will be listening to was actually recorded on July the 26th. There's no particular reason why I waited this long to actually put this out there. It is still very relevant, even though it is a few weeks old. But I just had some synchronicities come up with this timing, and I just wanted to share some of it with you. So I realized earlier today that on July the 26th, there was a nodal shift. Now, I do follow some astrological people online, and I'm super interested in what my sign means for me and my really close loved ones. I've read a lot about those, but other than that, I don't know a lot about what's going on cosmically and astrologically. Um, so I looked it up because I had a really strong pull to do a channeling on that day, July the 26th, which I wasn't planning on doing. I was going to wait until the beginning of August. But anyway, I looked it up and it said that the Aquarius Leo is the new nodal axis, and the energies that are coming in with that, which it's an 18-month cycle, so this will last until 2028, these energies. So the North Node Aquarius is interpreted as the direction of growth. So community and collective purpose, collaboration rather than going it alone, humanitarian concerns, building networks and communities, all great things. The South Node Leo part of it represents what we're being asked to release and move beyond, letting go of ego-driven attachment and seeking validation and being the center of attention and, just kind of letting go of all that personal drama. So I thought that was really interesting. And then I read that, and I didn't even realize till yesterday that today on the 12th is this eclipse, the solar eclipse that's happening in Leo. So these energies are even more amplified. In the last 2 nights, I have been dreaming about the Perseids meteor shower, and that a lot of energies are coming in with that. So it's like today I put all the pieces together about what I've been feeling from the collective and the nearby celestial objects and kind of how they're cycling around is the July 26th nodal shift, the Perseids meteor shower, and the eclipse kind of all happening in a really short span of time that I thought, okay, well, I'm going to post this channeling today, on the day of the eclipse, and just for synchronicity purposes. All right, so we'll get into it. The next audio you hear is going to be me starting my channeling. I do a few minutes of explaining my process, just like I did on the first video. This is only my second public channeling. And then I get into it. I did edit some long pauses out because it really was a pretty emotional channeling because the earth came in, which I absolutely was not expecting. So I tried to cut out those really long pauses and things like that. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy it, and thank you for being here. This is Allison, and I am going to be channeling the Human Consciousness Collective today. It's July the 26th, 2026, and I have been getting the urge for 2 days, a really strong urge that there are messages that need to come through, and they've already been spinning around my head, and I keep telling them to wait for the video, wait. And it's definitely time now. So I want to add before I begin, just like I did in the previous video, again, I am new to channeling, and I like to talk through my process with you in case you are also new to channeling, or this is something that you might be interested in doing, or that you just understand what it is that I'm doing. I didn't mention it on the first video, but I'll mention it now. I am a conscious channel. I do not go into a trance. Even though I put a mask on, that's just to block the light, so I have one less sensory distraction of light coming through my eyelids so that I can really focus on the intuitive messages that I'm getting. So as a conscious channel, I'm completely still at the forefront of my mind. I'm still making a bridge and connection with whatever it is that I'm channeling, but I'm not taking a step back like trance channelers. Some of the other items I have that I did not have last week that feel like they're calling me to be included. I'll have a lot of crystals and things like that. So I have several crystal skulls over here to my right. I also have my normal channeling rose quartz egg. I also have an orgone generator that is very connected to the earth that really wanted to participate, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And before I begin actually channeling, I'm going to do a few taps on the singing bowl because I'm already feeling extremely frantic and frustrated right now and agitated, and have been trying to turn that off for a few days because I know it's coming from the collective. And so I'm trying to tamp that down a little bit so that this message can be really clear and calm. Okay. Because that's part of what we're here to do, is to transmute some of this chaotic energy to calm and centered. So I'm going to attempt to do that through this process. I have felt maybe about over the last 30 minutes before I knew I was going to sit down and do this and was kind of preparing my area, I feel like my higher mind might pop in. And I also feel like the earth itself, herself, may pop in. I have never channeled the earth's consciousness. I don't know what it's going to feel like. I don't know if she's going to change her mind midway. I don't really know. I just know that she really wants to have at least a presence in the room, if you will, during this process. So that's one of the reasons why I have the orgone generator, as well as extra crystals around me and things like that. Just to give you an idea of some of the themes or overarching ideas that have been at the forefront of my mind for the past few days, and I'm about to get into the channeling, so please just bear with me here. This is part of my process. First and foremost, it has to do with timelines, picking the timelines and preparing for the timeline that you want. That's a big thing. The second thing is human first. And we'll get into that and what that means, human first. And then the earth just wanting to pop in. So like those are like the main three things that I've kind of been feeling. So I'm going to put on my mask. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to do a few hits on this. This is just to kind of, it's like an ohm in the space is what I'm trying to do, and that will help me further ground. I'm going to get started with a few hits on this, and then we'll go. Okay. Thank you for being here. Setting my intention of channeling the collective consciousness of humanity on Earth right now. What messages are trying to come through for the majority of people is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm asking for. Sometimes I get visuals, and the very first visual that I got was a stag, a male deer with antlers, staring at me straight on. So, forgive me, I'm getting a little emotional. I'm trying to center myself. That symbol for me is the earth and the elemental realm. Like I said, I've never channeled the earth. She's wanting to come through first. Just a moment. It's what it is an overwhelming feeling of love. Which is why I'm having a hard time speaking right now. All right. Sometimes it just has to pass. I think I'm ready. It's one of the most beautiful energies I've felt through channeling, so just give me a moment. I'm so sorry. She's saying stop apologizing. It's difficult because I do want the audio to be clear. All right. I'm just going to tell you the impressions that I'm getting from her and what she's wanting to communicate. Okay? Human first. That was coming from her. Human first. It is a reminder that we are humans first right now. And I know that can seem contradictory to the message that we get from all that is, or God, whatever you want to call the creator, is that first and foremost, we are a soul. And that is true. We are of God. We are a soul. That is true. It is also true that at the same time, and the earth wants us to remember that we chose right now to be focusing our soul, okay? Focusing our soul on the human experience. And that to be closer with her and closer with our soul is to become more fully embodied is the best word that I can come up with to match this theme that I'm getting of being fully in the body and being fully human. That does not take anything away from our spirituality. Just a moment. In fact, it does nothing but add to it. It is an extremely spiritual experience. Wow. It is an extremely spiritual experience to be human. So you guys can get a sense of what's happening. I feel like in my frame of energy field or reference, that the earth is in front of me and the collective consciousness is above my head, and there's a merging happening in my maybe it's my pineal gland, but I feel it in my head. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that so you get an idea of what I'm energetically sensing right now. So it's funny, the earth and the collective consciousness of humans is kind of like having a chatty chat right now that I'm not privy to. So just a moment. And that's happening right here above my head. I don't know if my arm is going outside of the frame, but it's, I don't know, what is that, 2 inches from the top of my head? So I'm going to try to connect with that. Something's happening between those two energies right now that I'm not, I don't know that it's an allowance, but I'm not in it right now. It feels like there's a merging happening, at least what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, that there's a, you know, when, if you've ever gone, I don't know, think of the Colorado River, if you've ever been down the Colorado River and, or a large river and you see another river coming into it and it's the same body of water, but you can see two distinct streams and directions that each body of water is taking, but they're all in the same body of water, if that makes sense. If you've never seen something like that, I'm not sure what else to describe, but that's what I'm seeing above my head right now, is these streams of energy that are trying to connect more closely, and that there's this bridge energy that's trying to help with that. And really the earth is taking the lead here. The earth is begging. She's pretty much begging is the best word that I can come up with, that humans get on board with her, just to put it bluntly, because she's in her process of ascension and she wants us to all go with her, and it to not be divisive, it to be more engaging as one. That's, again, I'm just visually what I'm seeing and what I'm interpreting from that. And again, it's happening all right here above my head, this communication that I can see visually. Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask now if we can continue the channeling. I don't know, I've not had something like that happen before. So let me ask if we can connect back with the earth or the collective consciousness of humans and see kind of who wants to come in and what needs to be said. All right, so who would like to connect? Still feel like it's a very earthly energy wanting to come through. I'm seeing mountains. I'm not sure how to describe the other thing that I'm seeing, because I don't want it to be misinterpreted. But I'm seeing sort of a metal, it looks metallic. I'm just going to say a donut. It's shaped like a donut. It is circular, but not fully spherical, and there is a hole in the middle. And it is spinning above the mountain, spinning counterclockwise. I don't know what this is. I think some people might say, oh, that's some type of ET ship, but I don't think that it is. I'm not sure what it represents. Let me ask. I'm just saying, hearing the oneness. It's a never-ending circle. I see. Yes, so what I'm getting from this is, imagine like I said, a circle, but with a small hole in the middle, more like a donut shape. Okay, imagine this donut shape, and then it's spinning slowly. But if it were spinning very quickly, we would perceive it to be a sphere. It's the nature of existence. And I've never seen it slowed down like that, so that it's so slow I can actually see that there's a hole in the middle. So it's kind of funny because it just seems like the message is oneness. I think the disconnect is that the collective consciousness and the Earth's consciousness are still trying to do their thing right here above my head. And it's almost like the human collective consciousness is trying to come forward into part of this, but the Earth isn't quite ready to fully let us in, if you will, because she's apprehensive. She wants to remain sovereign. She wants us to know that, and not to take this the wrong way, she says, she's allowing us to be here. And she loves us deeply. But she needs us to do better. And she needs us to grow up a little. She wants us to know that we're all connected. I think she's stepping back now, moving away. There's a moving away sense going that way. And now let's see what the human collective consciousness has to say. It's enveloping my head like a helmet now. Dome. Like this. Okay, what is the message? Or messages? Okay, yes, so we're going to jump right into the timelines. Timelines have been chosen and are being chosen very rapidly and very quickly. It is very, very important to remember to choose the timeline and to prepare for the timeline that you most closely desire and resonate with. Without, this is where my higher mind is trying to butt in a little bit, because for me personally, I am desiring to be on a positive, non-apocalyptic timeline. And I am aware, though, in the collective consciousness that not everybody believes in the possibility that that timeline can exist, either because they don't understand that multiple timelines can exist, that multiple dimensions do exist, that everything is here and now. It's a matter of shifting your vibrational frequency. So the collective consciousness is a little bit, I don't want to say upset, but it wants me to clarify and bring clarity to the fact that within the collective consciousness, there are people that are choosing, unconsciously some, consciously others, and have resigned to an apocalyptic type timeline. Now, that does not mean that it has to happen that way. And that's the main message that is wanting to come through right now from the humans' collective consciousness. Okay, I'm just going to say the collective from here on out. You get what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, so the collective is wanting to express very strongly, and it's almost comical that the choice has always been ours. It will always be ours, and we get to pick. So we can choose to go with this collective because all collective possibilities exist. We can go with that collective. We can go with that collective, that collective, that collective, and a multitude of infinitive. Now, the sphere that the Earth was showing me earlier, the donut rather, that when it spins quick enough, it appears to be a sphere, similar to if you see fan blades spinning so fast, or a wheel going so fast that you can't see the spokes of the bike or whatever. It's like that. So right now, what's happening is that even though there is an acceleration of events happening externally, that the earth is actually helping us. This realization is just popping in. I love this. She's actually helping us slow down that so that we can jump, for lack of a better term, onto the timeline that we want to. And that, again, yes, I've said this before, time is, I don't want to say time is irrelevant, but a lot of people are very much obsessed with time and timing. And yes, that is part of the Earth experience. Yes, that is part of the human experience and the 3D experience. So we don't need to ignore it. But again, the message that being present, slowing down, remaining calm, staying centered, and also having discernment are very important. I've seen it in my own personal life, and I know other people are experiencing it in the collective because I can see them actually lighting up right now. So right now what I'm seeing visually, just so you have reference, is in this dome or sort of helmet that's around my head that is the collective, is I'm seeing little spots of golden light that are, I'm not sure if that's representing single individuals or pockets of maybe individuals, like in small groups or something, that are a little bit disturbed and disoriented by some of the people around them that seem like they're on a very different timeline. And throwing the words positive and negative out here, okay, because that can mean something different to everybody. Everyone's definition about what is positive and what is negative is very different. I'm speaking in terms of vibrational frequency, higher and lower vibrational frequency. That's probably a better way to explain it. Yeah. I'm getting that confirmation right here. A light coming in, a yellow light coming in right here. That's the confirmation that I needed. That's what's happening. Is right now there is, among the chaos in this, it feels like kind of a gray cloud, and there's a little bit of lights happening over here, and there's also I honestly am not sure if this is a group of people or what this is, but right about here, the cloud is much darker. It's not straight black, but there are areas of it. It feels like just a spot of dark right there. It's a little bit darker, a little bit lower frequency, okay? So, in fact, the majority of the collective is in a lighter gray. There really isn't much of the collective other than at the very back of my head here that seems more like a white cloud. So there's a lot, well, I guess I can take this literally. There's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of people that haven't chosen their timeline, if you will, but this is the first time since I've ever tapped into the collective that I've actually seen this color change and this color indication of that there are now groups of people who are gathering together. I don't know if this means geographically or just energetically, with the lower vibration here, the higher vibration here, and there's gray in between, and then gray all around in the other areas. I apologize if this seems confusing the way I'm explaining it visually. There is a fascination with humans. This is coming from my higher mind. Because my higher mind can step out of this and see what's happening in the collective, And instead of me bringing the collective in fully and some of that confusion trickling in to the message, that I can observe it from above. So sometimes I ask my higher mind to do that so that it becomes a little bit more clear, so that it's more neutral and observational, if you will. So that's happening right on the right side of my head, way up here. My higher mind is basically, and from that perspective, from the higher mind perspective, and even the collective has a higher mind. Okay, we all have our higher minds, and then we have a collective higher mind. It can be completely neutral. It's sort of like watching a TV show or a movie where something is awful happening, or perceived to be awful that is happening to others, but you know that it's not that it's not real, but that it's of a lower vibrational frequency, and that the meaning, things, not meaningless is not the word. Okay, let me put it like this. It's like watching somebody fight that you don't even know. Okay? You get to decide the meaning you put on that, how you feel about it, and how it affects you. You can decide to interject. You can decide to be mad. You can decide to take sides. You can decide to let that play out. And that's lessons they need to learn, and you don't have anything to do with it. You can decide a myriad of things and how you want to interact with that. You can be completely neutral, and you can step outside of it. That's one of my higher mind is actually telling me to remind you that one of the best exercises you can do when you're feeling discombobulated and too much in the minutia of what's happening in life, maybe feeling like things are very dramatic in your life or overwhelming, that you can imagine your higher mind, or you can call it or name it whatever you want. You can see yourself as a little tiny ghost or something above your head, removed from your life, looking down on it as if you were a neutral figure. If you connect with the angelic realm or the angelics, maybe you can imagine yourself as an angel, or whatever religious beliefs that you have, and attempt to be in that body, if you will, okay? And that you're looking down upon yourself. And it's a very effective method of seeing the bigger picture and seeing things really for what they are, and sort of not taking things so seriously. So that was a little bit of a sidebar, but to get back to the original reason why my higher mind wanted to do that neutrality and observation of what was happening in this collective image that I'm getting of the gray and the darker area and the lighter area of the different frequency ranges, is that the large sort of middle gray in the collective of people that haven't really decided whether they wanted to go higher frequency or like lower frequency, or stay at their existing frequency and not ascend, they're very much influenced by, and I cannot say this enough, very much influenced by the mass media, by movies that they've seen, by conspiracy theories, and have completely forgotten that they are completely sovereign and a complete portion of God, and that they don't have to follow the crowd. They don't have to. There's a sense of it, in a feeling of it being impossible or extremely improbable, because all that they are seeing and sensing in their external world, they are perceiving as negative, lower frequency, and they do not see a way out. So they have been trained and programmed. My higher mind is saying, again, from the bigger picture, stepping out of this, they have been trained and programmed to tilt towards the negative because they think that's an inevitability. Okay? And it's not. It's not an inevitability. And I definitely know that because I am, again, personally on the timeline in the higher vibration in the white part of the cloud of the collective. And every single day, just every single day in my world, on my timeline, I experience and see and hear from more and more and more people aligned with that same timeline. Whereas before, when I didn't know what timeline I was on, or I was shifting back and forth, and I could tell when I was shifting back and forth, and it was very confusing, and there were a lot of people dropping in and out of my life, and it seemed really strange. People doing 180s, and I didn't really understand why. And then when I chose, because I have a free will choice, we all, again, we're complete, sovereign, indestructible souls having a spiritual experience as a human, full of emotions, on a planet full of diversity, wrought with lessons, okay, that we still have full free will to choose. And when you fully make that choice, you will align with that vibration. And the vibration in the white part of the collective is so beautiful. And you have the choice. Just by having the choice, that should bump you up to a higher vibration. You are not trapped. This is not a prison planet. Okay, I've heard that. This is not a prison planet. There are timelines like that. This one isn't. Choose the timeline. Choose the vibrational frequency. And stay there. And know, as a reminder from my higher mind, this is a very important point to remember, that even on a higher vibrational frequency, you will still witness the lower vibrations, and you can be thankful for them for showing you and reminding you almost constantly of what you don't prefer and what you're not choosing. In a completely non-judgmental way. There's no judgment for anyone at any level of vibration or frequency. At all. Alright, I'm asking to reconnect to the collective. I'm feeling it in my stomach now. There's a feeling of, it's a sense of starving or craving for something. So I'm seeing that bridging, that these two rivers colliding here, the Earth's consciousness and then the collective. Part of what was happening in there is the Earth interjecting some positivity into the collective, interjecting these reminders, if you will, of something that the collective has, the majority of the collective may have forgotten or hidden away or put away. Sometimes my visions are very, very strange. Like, literally, they just fist bump. Like, is that okay? Yeah, and I think that's one of the main also messages from the Earth directly to the collective, not to me, but to the collective. Is it's a lightening up. It's a lightening up. And it's a direct correlation with raising your vibration and raising your frequency. not being so serious. It's much easier to stay in the present when you're light and you're filled with light and you use your light and everything is light, if that makes sense. Because right now the collective is sort of comfortable in that heaviness. And the earth is like, lighten up, lighten up, lighten up. But what's also funny is it's sort of like when you tell a child, it's time to grow up now. And it seems like it's a very serious conversation, but at the same time, you also have to remember that growing up and being responsible and understanding your sovereignty and understanding and using your free will and being an adult, if you will, humanity as a species of adults and not children, that can be a fun journey. It doesn't have to seem daunting. It's not like the school that we went to, where for a lot of people it was very difficult environment and it felt meaningless. It felt not aligned. And then being sort of thrown into this world that we feel unprepared for, as all of a sudden we're an adult, we're grown up, and then you are struggling and struggling and struggling. That's how a lot of people in the collective have experienced this process of growth or growing up. And the earth is like, it doesn't have to be that way. That is a belief system. That is something that has been entrained, and it can be untrained. So it's good to practice that lightening. And the best advice that I have, and this is coming from higher mind, the best advice that I have is to, again, and I said this on the last transmission, is to do what you love as much as you can in any given moment. Do what you love. And if you're at a place that may seem misaligned, or you're around people that may seem misaligned, guess what? You can still be in alignment, and you can show them by being yourself what that is like. And they can choose to match your frequency, and you might have such a beautiful impact on the people around you just from being yourself, without having to say to them what you're doing or how you're doing it. But they'll just notice and they'll see. And I know personally a lot of people, as well as myself, who are very empathic and can sort of catch those energies around in misaligned areas and think that they're ours, and start acting that way and mimicking that behavior, mimicking those thought patterns, and then that lowers your personal vibration. And I want you to flip that on its head and present yourself to the world and to yourself with a higher vibration. Even if you're an empath, again, you don't have to take on other people's vibrations. You can still be aware of them and maintain that higher frequency. That is extremely important for you to remember, for those of you who are very empathic. And it's a reminder for me from my higher mind, thank you. Because I do that. I also know, and again, for empathic people, when you are in a place where there is a lot of high energy, that you can feel really high as well. And that's amazing. But then when you leave that thing, place, group of people, and that's over, then there's a lowering. Because you were too attached and assigning your high vibration to only being relevant because other people were also at a high vibration. And just a reminder here that, again, understanding that you're fully sovereign, complete, and whole, and that anybody else's or any other place's vibration doesn't have to affect you unless you want it to, unless you're choosing it to. Sometimes that can work for you, sometimes it might not. But there are a lot of empaths on the earth right now who are struggling with this. And there are a lot of them in that gray area in the collective because they want to be a part of the whole. Everyone wants to be a part of something, some group, a part of the whole. But then they also, at the same time, forget that they can have this free will and they can have that sovereignty. And that their vibration can actually attract the whole, W-H-O-L-E. I know we talked about the donut hole, but attract the whole to them. Not a lot of people want to stand at the top of the mountain by themselves. And so sometimes people who are on a growth journey and they raise their frequency and they notice that perhaps there are people around them that are at a lower frequency, at least of what they're perceiving, they have a fear that they're going to leave them behind. You don't have to fear that either. Allow everyone to be exactly where they are on their journey. There have been ascended masters on this planet from the beginning of time who are vibrating way higher than you or I and still coexisted and co-created with everyone else around them in complete non-judgment. And because of their example, these ascended masters, it helped more and more people raise their frequency because they could see that person for who they truly are. You may know someone like this. I have a few people in my mind personally that I know of that when you experience this person, it's like you're literally looking at their soul. Do you know someone like that? That you've never experienced any inauthentic moments or vibes from them? That you know in any moment of ever experiencing anything with or around them, that that's who they are. They are fully embodied as a human as well as fully connected with their soul and have that awareness with their soul and their higher mind. And it's like they never drop out of it because they have fully chosen and decided and know who they are. So all they have to do is just be. Do you know someone like that? Talk to them if you do. Talk to them about, I wouldn't even know what to ask someone, but just be in their presence. You're not worshiping them, okay? It's not like that. But allow their vibration to be in your vibration. It's a really beautiful experience. All right. I'm going to ask now if there's any other messages, either from the earth, the collective, my higher mind, or where we want to go, or if this is the end. Let's see. I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. So, going back to a little bit of an animal theme, I saw this stag at the very beginning. Now I'm seeing the face of some type of big cat. It's not quite a tiger. The coloring is not there. And it would be the left eye because it's looking directly at me. So the left eye has two pupils. And they are both lighting up. I'm not quite sure how to interpret. Let me ask the significance of what it is that I'm seeing. It's just... Okay. So, this vision
image, if you will, is a joint effort between the earth and the collective, and that's why it's lopsided. That's why the left eye has 2 pupils and the right eye has 1. But overall, the image is of a large cat. And the symbol of the cat has to do with, again, that independence, that sovereignty, remembering that you have full free will. But also at the same time that cats are very spiritual. Very, very spiritually connected with the spiritual realm. I don't know yet about the light coming out of the pupils. It's just a very, very tiny sort of glint. Very small glint. But it's sort of funny. Like me as Allison, I'm interpreting, it's kind of funny because it's like they're attempting to do this message together, but it's like lopsided in the eye. Why the eye? Because the rest of the face is symmetrical. Not sure. I'm not getting an answer for that. It's something for me to ponder. It's something for us to ponder, I suppose. All right. The energies are stepping back now. I definitely doesn't feel. Just a second. Just started clearing them out. My higher mind now is right up here at the center, and the dome of the collective is clearing out. The earth has stepped way back, and my higher mind is now coming. It was over here, now it's coming right back up to center above my head. And so I'm just sort of making sure that's still, yeah. All right. So definitely less chaotic feeling because the earth came through first and she really helped calm things down. That was definitely different from any channeling I've ever done. I felt more far removed from the collective this time than I did last time. And I think because of maybe some of the crystals and some of the prep that I did and the fact that the earth consciousness was also here, that helped with that. But was also a little bit confusing for me to interpret. And I was trying to take my personal interpretations out as much as possible and just go with intuitive feelings. And so I was getting more visual information. I don't always get a lot of visual information. A lot of it sometimes is just thoughts that drop in or feelings that I have. But I did get more visionary things, and that definitely helped. Okay. That was at times very powerful, and then at times very lighthearted. Like I felt like I needed to laugh. And I don't feel like I'm just needing to go rush outside and ground right now. That was very different from my last channeling. Very interesting. All right. Aside from channeling, so from me personally to you, trying not to get emotional. Whenever that earth first came through and I got really emotional, I felt Earth's love for humanity. Like big time. Like mother to children love. Like the greatest love that you could think of, basically. And it's really similar to the love that I have for humanity and every single person on it, on this earth. Whether I know them or will never meet them or ever even know their name. People that I've had difficult times with or that have wronged me or traumatized me in some way. I still love them so much because I love humanity. And I want these messages to be beneficial to you and to remember that it doesn't matter if you believe in channeling or don't believe in channeling. The information, the feelings that you get, does it help? Does it not help? How are you feeling about it? Like, it's the message that's important. Just about any channeler will tell you that. It doesn't matter if they say they're channeling a frog. Did you get something out of it? This seems a little unrelated, but sometimes when I forget that I'm part of this beautiful human collective and that we are all truly one and we're all here teaching each other lessons, and especially when someone has maybe in your mind done you wrong, I go sit on my couch in a very particular spot and I close my eyes and I imagine that person either sitting next to me or sitting on my lap like I'm the mother and they're the child, and that they're putting their head on my shoulder and I'm hugging them and I'm just holding them and reminding them of their beautiful, sovereign, godly nature, and that everything that they are is perfect and that they're exactly where they need to be, and everything that they have done in their life up to that point is exactly what needed to happen. They've done nothing wrong, and that they are so unconditionally loved. Because unfortunately, some people have never felt unconditional love. And that motherly feeling that the earth reminded me of at the beginning of my channeling is exactly the feeling that I want to portray to you right now. You are unconditionally loved. If you take nothing else away from this today, remember that. Remember that. Thank you.